And then one fun thing that Emily and I have been working on is we've been forcing tulips indoors for spring tulip bouquets. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah, I saw your post.
You saw the post, yeah. So we worked on it last year, and this year we kind of really perfected it. So we've been trying to figure out ways to boost sales in the spring, especially where we're at. It's really cold, and we've discovered you can force tulips indoors and have tulip bouquets at this time of year. And we last week was the first week that we sold them, and it attracted a lot of like inactive customers to our store, and we almost doubled our sales last week, and we're having another really good sales week this week, and the bouquets are actually really profitable as well. So not including labor, we sell them for $2 a stem, so it's like 60% margins.
But the labor is like super minimal, like
Yes.
like an hour of like one person's labor.
Yeah, you get your crates, you fill them full of potting soil, plant your tulips, and then put them in the cooler. And then once they're ready, you bring them out and you put them under your grow lights.
Well, and also if you guys are in the US, you can probably buy pre-chilled tulip bulbs, in which case you don't need to put them in the cooler for very long at all. But here in Canada, we cannot get pre-chilled tulip bulbs. Okay. And so we have to chill them ourselves, which adds a lot of time. But you guys have, I think, access to a lot more like good wholesale bulb providers, and you can get a lot more cool varieties too.
Well, Melissa, maybe we're still under snow here in Ontario.
Yeah. Okay, so Allison, you're in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a quick. I want to hear more about the tulips, but just wondering how, like from beginning, like cooling, right through until your bulbs are ready to sell. How long would that take?
So we planted them. I staggered planted them, but we did a couple crates a week starting in like October. I did, I think, 4 crates the beginning of October. I waited a couple weeks, did a couple more crates. And then the last ones I planted were the first week of December, I think. I can like write up like an actual how-to, because it was actually quite difficult to find all the information about how to do it. And so that first year, last year, I just kind of figured it out. Like I talked to the bulb rep from Van Nuert a couple times, and kind of helpful, not that helpful. And so last year we had like 30% loss, I think, like around there. But then this year it's like very minimal loss. So you plant them in soil. You really only need like 4 inches of potting soil in the bottom of your crate, like not much. Cover them a little bit with potting soil, give them a really deep water, and then you put them in the cooler. And then I started taking the first crates out the first week of March. But I think I could have taken them out starting in February.
Okay. And then once they start to sprout, like once you got them under your grow lights, would it like 3 weeks, a month?
Yeah, about 3 weeks. It really depends on the temperature. So what we do is we have an unheated room in our house, and then we have a much warmer room by the heater in our house. And I have 2 sets of shelves with grow lights. And so when I take them out of the cooler, I put them in the cold room. They don't need to go under lights at that point. And then I kept them in the cold room for like a week or 2 weeks, just kind of like I didn't have space in the warm area. So like a minimum of like a week in a cooler temperature to kind of like bring them slowly up to warmer temperatures. And then I put them in the warmer area under lights, but not even all of them fit under lights. So some of them are just near the lights and they do fine. Like if they start bending toward the light, I'll just move the crate so that they kind of right themselves. True. And I mean, our grow area for the tulips is like so basic, and
well, they look really good on your they look beautiful, really. And you're right, people would love to have fresh flowers right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, our main goal, and I think this would be like a really big sales week for anyone who did it, is to have tulips for Easter and especially Mother's Day. Like if you could be one of the first people with like fresh bouquets for Mother's Day, I think you would draw in like a ton of customers, and then also a lot of word of mouth afterwards. So that's always our main goal, is to kind of hit holidays really hard with something because that's when the demand is the highest for those products.
But actually, I mean, like in March, people are really tired of storage vegetables. Like we just ran out of carrots like last week. I think that's the longest we've really ever had carrots. And we basically have potatoes. Like we're about to, yeah, we've got potatoes and beets. We have a little bit of garlic left. We've been out of onions for a while. No one wants rutabaga. We have tons of rutabaga left. We have some squash this year, but like people are just sick of all that stuff. And so it really helps sell all the other things when you have like that one thing that people want. You know, they'll come to the store for the tulips and then they'll buy a squash and some potatoes, whereas they weren't really that interested in squash and potatoes, you know, before.
So do you think, like I'm similar to you. I've got like a whole thing of potato, or not a whole room of potatoes, but I've got potatoes left. So I'm going to the market tomorrow. I'll take my potatoes. Would I have enough time to force any bulbs between now and Mother's Day? I don't know if I would.
No, because it's too late and they have to have a certain amount of chill period.
Yeah, that's what I didn't even know tulips needed chill period.
Yeah. So unless you get them pre-chilled, which you can't in Canada, you have to chill them. I think it's like, it depends on the variety. This is where it gets really complicated, and I had a lot of trouble figuring it out because some varieties only need 14 weeks of chill and some need 18. And you just can't really find that information anywhere. And so I had some varieties I trialed. Some of them I got rid of this year. I got some new ones, and it's like pretty much 16 weeks of chilling. But if you get pre-chilled, I don't think you need very much time at all. It's just enough for them to start putting in down roots, and then they'll start sprouting.
Right.
So it's the kind of thing you have to order your bulbs. For us in Canada, you got to order your bulbs in like June. I'm pretty sure is when they'll send out order sheets. Like we use Van Noort. That's really the only company I know of in Canada that's any good. We order in June and then they get shipped in October. And then as soon as they come in, I have them shipped as early as possible in October. As soon as they come in, I start planting them, stagger them a little bit. And you just got to make sure you store the tulip bulbs in like your fridge or somewhere cold that's not next to fruit. Because,
well, could I put them, like I've got 2 cold rooms. So in the winter, I've got one for my grow lights. I transfer it into grow light room, and the other one I just keep my potatoes in. So I can throw them in with my potatoes, right?
I think so. Yeah, they don't want to freeze, and they don't want it too warm. So I think potatoes the same temperature as potatoes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I would just like try it too.
Yeah, first year will be an experiment, and then next year you'll figure it out. You'll get the hang of it, and then you can just add that as a part of your business. And then I think you should do it every year because it's just a really easy thing to do, and people love it, and it's profitable.
Yeah, and you have to order like a minimum of I think 100 of each variety to get wholesale, which is not really that much. It's like a crate or maybe 2 crates.
Yeah, we'll put together maybe a guide or something that we can put in school that everyone can kind of use as a resource. You can also do this with lilies as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying that for the first time this year because we get this gap, right, where we don't have any flowers ready in the field until like solstice in June at the earliest. And
it's great that you get them that early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about putting any of my like flowers, these teeny ones, in until maybe the 15th of June.
Jeez.
That's hilarious.
I know. Oh, geez,
yeah. More north than us. So.
I forget that. I'm always complaining about how cold it is. But yeah. What we're trying to do is after tulips have lilies, forced lilies, so that we don't have this weird gap in between when the tulips are done and when we have any flowers in the field, because the flowers attract a different type of customer. It's really like the people who come to buy flowers, some of them leave if there's no flowers, but they do buy other things if there's flowers in the store. And so we're trying to just keep
do like as like keep the flowers going like as long as year round as we can.
so we can keep those customers.
Mhm.
Because it's really nice to have like return customers every week, you know?
Yeah.
So we've got lilies, and it's our first time doing it. They don't need any chilling, so they're much faster. The bulb showed up in the beginning of March. They showed up not too long ago. We planted them right away in crates with soil, kind of same thing, and they pretty much immediately started to sprout. So now I've got a couple of crates of lilies in the cold room with the tulips, and some of them are like 6 inches tall already. So hoping to tulips and lilies start, and then field flowers.